Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the KONTAINEROZ podcast. The podcast is sponsored by PortPro, the leading operating system for drayage carriers. Schedule a demo today at portpro.io, and don't forget to mention KONTAINEROZ for 10% off. In the studio today, I got Andrew Vazirabadi, the owner of Trophy Trucking LLC. Welcome.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for making time on your weekend. No 3-day weekend for you then.
No, luckily the truck's in the shop right now to get the AC fixed. So after the weekend, being in the Mojave Desert, like 116 with no AC.
Oh, you're going to get a feeling of that right here. And why do you say lucky that it's in the shop? That's kind of unlucky, some would say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is unlucky, but I'm getting it fixed. That's what's lucky about it. I have actually time to get it fixed.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, man, you reminded me flashbacks of when I was someone's driver and they had no AC. Well, you ever, when you have to roll with the windows down and all that air, you think you're getting cool air, but by the time you get to your destination, your eyeballs are all dry.
Yep.
Horrible. So tell us a little more about yourself.
So right now, I started this company with my brother-in-law, Trophy Trucking. We're one truck, now one driver operation. And we started about last October. That's when we actually got the truck. We started like 2 months before that, and it took us a while to find the truck and all that.
Yeah.
So we started, as anybody who's like new in the business now, doing power only. We used all the apps, Convoy, CH Robinson. Can't think of anything else right now that accepted us in the beginning like that. But we did a lot of work for Convoy and working as a team. The thing was we weren't getting paid that much through Convoy working as a team. So at the start of this year, we finally got approved with Amazon. And that really helped us out a lot. It quadrupled our income working team through Amazon.
Wow.
Through the first 3 months, the first quarter was really good. After that, it kind of slowed down. As fuel prices went up, rates went down. It kind of affected Amazon too. So we went from making like close to $3.50, $4 a mile. It went down to like $1.90, $1.80. Like we've even run for like $1.70 a mile. And
with the current rate of diesel.
Yeah, with the current rate of diesel.
Uh-oh.
So it was, and we have a truck payment, we have insurance for 2 drivers, and we're like new authority. So we have like pretty much everything going against us. So like after a while, like of doing all this, like running, like doing 5,000-6,000 miles a week, we were like, you know what, like we gotta like figure something out because something's not working.
Yeah.
We're owners, but we're acting like drivers, like we're acting like employees. Like we're not even getting paid some weeks. So my brother-in-law, like I owe like everything to him. Like he really helped out with like getting the truck and everything. Him and my father-in-law, like we all put money together and like we got the truck.
Yeah.
Like without them, like there's no way I would be able to do this. So like I'm always thankful for them.
All right. Shout out to them.
Yeah. Hey. Shout out to them. So like what I was trying to say was like
something wasn't working, you said?
Yeah, like some stuff wasn't working out. So like the pay and stuff, like, going from like as an employee making like constant like weekly checks, like you make like 100,000 a year, whatever, to going to some weeks not even getting paid. Obviously, like it's not for everybody. Like me, like I have a vision like for the company. So I want to grow it. Like I want to. It's like you plant a flower and then like a week you only get like a small thing, and then a month like it grows, and then like after a few years, you got like a tree.
Yeah.
So that's like the vision that I have for it. But like my brother-in-law, like I completely understand like why he like chose to do something else. Like I don't blame him at all. Like I love him as my brother-in-law.
Yeah, during this trying period?
Recently, like he decided to like do something else.
Oh, okay. So you're handling it right now.
Yeah. So it's all good. Like it's
it's
like I have no like thing against him. Like, it's my brother-in-law. It's like my brother.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They opened, like you mentioned earlier, they kind of opened the doors for this to begin with. So
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always grateful for him.
Yeah.
So basically now is just like trying to get into a rhythm of doing everything on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting all the accounting done, the paperwork. Luckily, like with Amazon, like it's pretty much all like
there
electronic and through the app and everything.
Yeah.
So just right now, like I'm doing mostly like regional work, some local work. Before, like, we were doing like pretty much half of everything west of Mississippi. So
yeah.
it was kind of rough before, since neither of us have we've always been local drivers. We never even left California from like when we were drivers,
Yeah.
When I first started out, like after I got my license, we were doing food service. And, it was rough because if you ever done food service, like, it's not easy to do. It's a lot of like manual labor and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was like the door to get into trucking for me. Because like back when I got my license, it was kind of hard as a new driver to really get in anywhere locally unless you had some experience. So there was a point where like 3 months after I got my license, I'm like, I got to figure something out. Every place I call is not like getting back to me. They're telling me you don't have enough experience, anything like that. So
hire me so I could get that experience.
Exactly. Like, how are you supposed to get experience? So I was like a week away from about to go over the road, and this one company called me back, which is funny because this company, let me go back a little bit. When I first graduated high school, my graduation day was like June 23rd. It was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And that Monday, I had secured a job. So like they wanted me to start that Friday, but I'm like, no, like I got to go graduate, So that Monday, like I'll start work. So this company was a cold storage in Pico Rivera. And their number one customer was the same company that I worked with 8 years later at the food service.
Mm-hmm.
Like even back then, like everybody was coming and telling me, hey man, like get your license. I was 18 years old. Like I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Like get your license, make money like trucking. Like look at my truck. Like I make this much money. Like they show me checks. And I'm like, wow. Like it. Like I guess it kind of like like it was like a seed in my mind.
Yeah.
That later like grew, and I got to like where I am today with that.
It was just marinating there for a while. Though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Because you were comfortable where you were at, or why?
Yeah. I mean, now I feel like really good. Like I have like a plan and like a vision for the future.
Yeah.
I have like plans of like expanding and all that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that in like a year to two, like I'll be out of the truck and doing more of just like office work and dispatching and handling all that part of the business. Operations, exactly.
What was it like for you when you got your first check as a trucker?
Oh man. At the food service company, my first day, like actually on the job, they started me as a helper because I didn't have like a year of experience. But that was like a good foot in the door because as a helper, you can also drive. So my first day, I think we did like 17 hours. Mm-hmm. And this is coming from a guy who did 8 hours like all his life.
Oh.
So I'm like 17 hours. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like, damn.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, how's this legal? Like I had no expectations. I didn't have like, I never like knew anything about trucking besides, you drive the truck and that's it.
Hey, and then you're done. The guy's like, hey, see you in 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So like I knocked out because we're not just driving. Like we're also like, putting the stuff away in the stores. We're like carrying like milk,
a pallet jack.
Yeah, even like putting stuff in the refrigerator, like stocking, doing everything,
Yeah.
And we're doing like 18 stores a night. So it's not like you were just driving around,
Hey, you never took a little something, a little like, oh, that shake looks good, or that.
Yeah,
a little something along the way.
Something might fall off the truck,
Oh, it might fall, huh? Yeah.
But yeah, so we went to we did a bunch of stores. We got back in the morning. I think the route started at 2:30 in the afternoon, and we got back around like 7:30, 8 in the morning. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna keep up? How am I gonna get enough sleep? All that. And
that was the first one, and that's how you got into trucking?
Yeah, and that was the first day. It wasn't how I when I first got my license. Mm-hmm. It was a funny story. There was a driving school It's not around anymore.
Yeah.
It's called Dutzen.
Yeah.
They used to do like by the hour. You can like go and like get in the truck for like an hour, and then they'll give you a lesson or whatever.
Oh wow.
Or like you can choose like what you want to do. It's not like the trucking schools now where like you pay like a flat fee or something.
Yeah.
So I did that. I'm like, let me just try it out. You know, like it's just like it's $99 for an hour. Like that's cool. So I did it. I'm like, wow, like this is fun. Like this is cool. Like, you know, like I thought, you know, driving, because I used to drive like the smaller trucks, and then going into this, I'm like, wow, this is like something completely different. So, and like the guy that I had who got assigned to me, the teacher, he was like a drill sergeant. Like the first day, he had me go into an alley and like back up, like straight back, like 150 feet. And he's like, if you can't do this, like I'm not going to teach you anything else.
Yeah.
So
what's your fucking PSI? Say it now. Say it.
Exactly. Just like that. Like whenever I would shift, like, and I would like miss a gear.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, like he'd hit my hand. Like it was that serious. Yeah. I'm like,
let me find out you started missing them on purpose.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But so back to the job. So after my first week, like of doing like a bunch of hours, I got my check and I'm like, oh wow. Because at first I'm like, man, this is not gonna work. I'm just gonna go over the road. Like this is crazy. Mm-hmm. But I got my check and I'm like, damn, like I got like $1,200 after taxes for 4 days of work.
Okay.
And I was used to making like $500 a week before that.
Oh,
I'm like, damn, like okay, I'll stay here.
They got you. They
got me, and I was getting paid as a helper. I wasn't getting paid as a driver, which was like $5 more an hour.
Oh,
so I'm like, imagine like when I get up there, like it's gonna be crazy. So I was there for a while. I want to say like a year and a half, and I did like a bunch of stuff. Dog, I was even a spotter over there for a while, so it helped me with my backing and all that.
But what led to that? You said they mentioned it at the warehouse to you, and
yeah, like before when I would start, they would always tell me like, yeah, man, it's like
eventually
like,
you
come in, and then eventually like I just got in, and I'm like, let me do it, because before that, like I had a bunch of different jobs. Like I started at the warehouse, and then I did security for a while at a mental hospital. And
tell me a crazy story about that.
Crazy story. There was one lady, like she was losing her mind, and she threw a chair at me.
I thought she didn't throw her. Never mind.
Yeah. I was like, that stuff would happen too. Like, there'd be some crazy stories over there. Yeah. Like, I don't know how this place was in business, but
I'm lonely, Andrew.
That stuff would happen too.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like a really bad place to work. Like, super bad vibes.
Oh.
The nurses and stuff. Like, if the patients were acting up, the nurses would tell security, "Hey, like, go lock the door and do whatever you got to do to the people."
Oh shit.
So it's that kind of place. Like,
damn,
dirty. So, yeah, I got out of there quick, and I was getting paid like $9 an hour. Damn. So it's like you're 19 years old, like, you know, you'll get anything at that point. You know? So after that,
the story. Don't skip the story.
She was, I don't know what was like. Like everybody said, like watch out for her, and like she would just come out and like go crazy. Like
describe her though. How was she? Old, young?
She was an older lady. I don't know, she was like maybe 50, 60 years old. Mm-hmm. She's about like a little shorter than me, a little bit more thin. I don't know, like she's, you know, they're mentally ill people, so, you know, you can't really like go with what they're saying, or, you know, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But what would happen is like they throw like a tantrum, like they go crazy. Like, they start throwing chairs around. They'll go and, like, hit the nurse or something. And this time she, like, threw a chair at me. And, like, I just went like that. And, like, I blocked it. So, like, it just hit my arm. So I was good. And then, like, we had to go and, like, put her down. Like, hold her down so they can, like, give her the medicine to, like, knock her out, basically.
Damn.
And this happened, like, a few times. Not just with that lady. There was another guy. Because this is a weird hospital, man. Like, they would have smoke breaks for the patients. Which I never heard in the hospital, like, have a smoke break. Like, they ran this like it was, like, the 70s.
Yeah.
So we'd have to, like, take them down, and then, like, they would, like, have a smoking area where they, like, pass out cigarettes and, like, you'd smoke outside, the patients. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was super weird. You know, I've never seen anything like that.
Even if they weren't smokers, they were probably turning.
Yeah, they're probably, like, doing it anyway.
Fuck it.
Everybody would just to get outside, you know, you're stuck in there 24 hours a day. It's like prison.
Crazy.
So I remember this one time, like it was just this one guy. It was like this super like this guy was like maybe 6'6", and I was with him, and like there was a nurse. Like it was all like three of us in the elevator.
Yeah.
And this guy, like he was known to like mess with the nurses. So like, and he was like he would never talk. Like he was like very like super quiet, just like a weird like scary dude.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, like he's in front of me, the nurse is next to me, or a nurse was next to him, and then all of a sudden, like he reaches like and grabs her, like her breast.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, like don't do that. Like I like knocked his arm off, and like he just stared at me like,
how cute.
Yeah, like I felt like I was looking at like the devil like in his eyes.
Yeah, you ended his whatever he thought he was doing there.
Yeah. So there would be like moments like that. Like there was nasty moments too. Like I don't really want to get into that because it was just super nasty stuff.
Like patients like doing some shit with each other or something.
Well, that was normal. Not just that. It was like it's a mental hospital. You know, like a lot of stuff happens. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. But so yeah, that was an interesting job that I had. For like, I did that for like 6 months, 7 months, something like that, and I just got out of there because I'm like, this is not worth it. Like, people would come in there. There was one girl who came in with scabies, and
those people that get admitted in there, like, do their relatives come and drop them off, or do they have visitors, or they could, or these are the ones that got lucky that could have ended up homeless, and then we see them on the street and we assume that they're on drugs, and 9 times, I don't know the statistics, but we assume stuff, right, as humans. So what's the cases there, you think? Not to get too much off topic, but it's like people drop them off, or how do they end up there, you know?
I would say like 90% of them, 95% of them were homeless. Most of them, you know, they didn't want to stay on the street, and sometimes like the police would bring them in. Sometimes the non-emergency ambulances would bring them in from like nursing homes, or it's kind of like their
that's their last stop, kind of.
Yeah, it's their last stop because most of the time it's like where you go to before jail, or where you go to before, you know, like your family gives up on you and then they just give you to the state. That's what most of them were. And it was sad, man. Like it's really sad to like see like a waste of life. You know, like I totally understand like
it's
people
out of their
have
control.
things. Yeah, it's out of their control. Like people have like illnesses or whatever it is, but it's just really messed up just to see like at one point like this was a baby that, you know, like had like everything in front of them, and then whatever life circumstances like went through, and they ended up in this situation now. You know, like, and it's especially like the older people that had like family. Like I remember one guy, and like this was like, it hurt me a lot because I would see this guy, his brother would come in, and like he would act up and stuff because he was mentally ill, and his brother would come and like literally like hit him, like he would come just to beat him up, like to put him in line.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like what are you doing, man?
Not even for a hug or nothing.
Yeah, no,
like
there was no love. It was just like straight like abuse. And like, what are we supposed to do about it? You know, like obviously we're supposed to call the cops or whatever, but none of the nurses cared. Security, like they don't, like they do the same thing.
Cops want to send them back in there anyways.
Yeah, they're gonna send them back anyway. So it's just really messed up, you know. That's why I'm like, I have to get out of here. Like, there's too much like negativity in here. Like there was times where security has to help at the morgue too. So whenever like they would come to pick up the bodies, like we would have to help them like put the body in the hearse.
Yeah, help the coroner.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, I'm getting paid like nothing to be doing all this work.
Yeah.
And like risking my life, because there was times where like people come in. This one guy, like he's like, hey man, like you come into the front door, they'd be like, I'm feeling suicidal and I'm feeling homicidal.
Oh, just check in.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You know, like you go in, you tell the people on staff, and then like they have to deal with him, and then this guy ended up raping another patient, and just like crazy things would happen all the time. This guy like who broke a window, who like wanted to jump out the window from the 4th floor. Like crazy things like all the time.
Did it change your perspective if you had anything different in mind prior to that? Like for example, like not taking your sanity for granted. Like Like
totally, man. Totally.
Like, damn, I have choice right now to go do anything I want. I literally have a choice. I'm not like just, lost.
Yeah, especially seeing that at a young age. Like you're 19, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You're seeing that for the first time. Like what can possibly happen, and like how you're blessed to like have like control of your brain, and you can do anything. Like these people, like they have no choice. Like they are what they are. And it's unfortunate, but society has to deal with it.
What did you want to be growing up?
Well, I mean, my family, like they always like put thoughts in my head, like like when I was super young, like be a doctor, be a lawyer, blah blah. But like whenever like I was super young, like I was always like thinking I really want to be like a businessman. Like I want to be a business owner one day.
Yeah.
Like I even had my dad had a suitcase.
Yeah.
And like I'll go, like I carry the suitcase around and stuff, like keep my papers and all that in there. So that was what I really wanted to be ever since I was young. And now I'm just like, I'm blessed to like be in a situation where that's what I am. Mm-hmm. So I've always been like super interested in like, having my own thing, not working for somebody else. That's why if you look at like my whole work history, I've jumped around from job to job all the time. And
you quit jobs a lot or what, man? What are you telling me? Nah.
Yeah. I'll admit it.
Try new
things. You try new things, like you get in and see if you fit there. And then if it doesn't work out, then hey, like try something else.
Yeah.
And like trucking is one thing that I got into where I really feel like it's something where you get in like with literally nothing. You can literally some cases you don't even need a diploma.
Yeah.
Like even with the GED or whatever it is, like you can get in, like even if like you just come to the country, like you just like speak English, you got a license, that's all you need, and you get started, and you can like one day like be an owner of a huge fleet. You can come from, that's one thing like I really amazes me in my life, like people that come from the dirt and then make it to the top. Like, and I've seen so many people like that, and that's what's amazing to me. Like just coming from nothing and getting into something like huge. Like it's super inspirational to see stuff like that.
Growing up, like, do you have any memories that influence the desire to hustle more, or that's just naturally there? Any hardships or stories you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like one big thing in my life was my grandpa. He came like, they switched countries 3 times. Originally, my grandma and grandpa got married, like they were young. Mm-hmm. There was a time like they didn't have a roof over their head. Like they were just like he built their own house, but like he was building it slowly because they didn't have the money to do it. Okay. And this is like in another country, so they moved from, and like for work he would have to like swim across a pretty long river, like 15 miles, like just to get to like work. And like
every other day?
Not every other day, but like they would do it and then go work there for like a few months. And like yeah. So it was rough. Like there was no work back then. This is like the 40s and 50s, like back there. So when and this is like my uncle was born at the time, so my grandma was taking care of my uncle alone, and they had it rough. Like they were poor. But my grandpa, like he was super, like he had like a really good like work ethic. Like he was always like hustling, working, he was a carpenter. So they came back, and like eventually he had enough money to like start a little business, and he was making backgammon boards, and like also just like lumber, and like people would come and like buy like certain like wood or these backgammon things, and he made like a pretty good name for himself over there. But then the government changed and it kind of messed everything up. So they kind of went from like a democratic country to like a like socialist, like dictator. So they had to they went to another country, which was like originally where we were from.
Yeah.
And over there, kind of the same thing ended up happening like 5 years later. So then they came to America like in 1988. And they started here again with nothing.
So they like had to rebuild multiple times.
They had to rebuild at 3 to 4 times.
So by the time they come here, it's like, let's kill it. Let's do it.
Yeah, so they came here with, I think, like $300 and like a family of 8. And
wow.
Yeah, so luckily, like, we had somebody here who like took care of us for a little bit in Hollywood, and then we finally got our own thing going. And then I was the first one born here in America. So I mean, my grandpa like raised me because like my dad wasn't around that much. So he sorry, I'm blinking out right now. Basically, like I said, my grandpa was a carpenter. Like, he would work with like different places, like putting wood in, like new construction, all that. Like all my uncles and everything, they do construction, marble, and carpentry as well. So I would see like my grandpa, like he was like when I was born, he was already like old. He was born in the 20s, and this is like in the 90s. He was still going to work, like 60 years old. He pretty much worked till the day he died. And like, unfortunately, like he died of leukemia. And
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that was really tough on me because like he was like my dad.
Yeah.
You know, like.
How old were you when that happened?
I was, like 19, 20 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, it was 2000. No, I was 18. No, sorry. I was 20 or 21.
Okay.
So it was really rough. Like, it hit me hard, you know, like, because I would always spend time with them, you know, like not during the week, but like every Saturday and Sunday, we would go to the swap meet because he also collected tools. So we would go and like I'd set everything up, and you know, like I'd help him, like, because he didn't speak English, so I'd help him like try to sell the tools or like. Yeah. But like it was kind of like a hobby for him because like he'd go and like he'd end up buying more stuff than he sold. Like from other people, so
yeah.
so like he was a big inspiration in my life, like as far as like hustling, because he would work literally every day, and like he was a great guy. There was like, I don't know, 200-300 people at his funeral.
Wow.
He helped like so many people, and like it just messed up like how he went out at the end like that. So like that always like stayed with me, but I feel like me trying to build something huge is like a good like honor to him. So like I don't know, I'm not really a spiritual guy, but like if like he can see me now, like I want him to like see like me like build something out of nothing and like be proud of what I did.
Yeah.
You know?
Seems like you're doing great. You got that company going, and we'll get into the other stuff shortly. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. I remember my grandpa right now.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
But yeah. You got to spend a lot more time.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you do differently if you could travel back in time?
Well, I don't know, man. The way I feel, like I said, like I'm not really a spiritual, religious person, but I feel like a lot of things in my life have happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's like a flow of everything that I've done, everything that I've gone through. It just feels like everything worked out, and then at the end I'm like, oh, okay, so that's why this happened. This happened because this happened, or this happened to show me that this, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to fuck up the sequence.
You don't really want to like mess up the sequence or whatever it is, but I also feel like a lot of it is in your hands too, because you know, like I could have like went to that job at the warehouse and just stayed there my whole life, but like things happen to like change the situation, and then you say, okay, I gotta get out of this. Yeah. And then you get into something else, you learn something. You get into something else, you learn something else, and eventually you get to the point where, okay, now I'm here, and now I gotta continue until the next thing, you know. So that's what I feel like. I don't know if I would change. I guess I'd spend more time with my grandpa. Like I, just wanna, like. At least like the last few years, like spend like there would be times where like, because we'd wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and have to go like on a Saturday or Sunday and go to the swap meet.
Yeah. And
there'd be times where like, no, like I just don't want to go. Like I just want to sleep, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I totally like go back and Just be like, no, like get up and like let's go, like spend this time with them while you can, you know.
But sometimes, like the past, do you think the past kind of teaches you a lesson that even though you can't? This is a hypothetical question. What would you do if you went back? 'Cause we can't really go back.
Yeah.
But we can learn from it and then kind of adjust like our future or our present, so that it's not a memory. Eventually, today will be a memory, right? So
yeah, man.
we don't want to be like, oh, I want to go back. Well, let's just do it now, then, right?
Yeah.
So maybe the time factor, you could apply that with another loved one that you still have here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I feel the same way, you know, about my whole family, especially about my mom. Like now, you know, like she lives, you know, North LA, and then I live in the IE. So it's kind of like hard to go and visit all the time, because especially when I'm working, you know, I'm out 5 days a week.
Yeah,
and I gotta come back.
Trucker schedule.
It's rough, you know. Like I gotta spend time with them, and then I gotta, you know, spend time with my wife too. So it's
and you gotta sleep.
And you gotta sleep too. You know, you gotta take care of your own stuff. You gotta take care of the business, because you go on the road and then you come back and you still gotta do all your, like the business side of trucking. Mm-hmm. So it's not just like I come back and I chill for 2 days and I go back out. You know, nobody's doing the work unless you're doing it. When you're a one guy operation, you know.
Yeah, that's why it's a double-edged sword. If that's a good analogy, because being your own boss is cool, but it's also not. When you get in a rut or you know no one's coming to push you, you have to get up yourself, right?
Yeah, totally, man. You got to keep yourself motivated. That's number one. Like that's just something that I always like pump myself up. Like no matter what it is, like whatever you got to do, listen to music, watch a video, like get yourself like in that mood to like hustle and grind, you know?
A little yoga or what?
I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm too high strung for yoga.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about the industry so far?
I gotta say the best thing is, you know, the flexibility as far as like being your own, like having your own authority. You book your own loads. You're not forced to do anything. But then again, you're not promised a check at the end of the week either. Yeah. So there's a certain level of responsibility and a certain level of, you know, even though you're not getting forced dispatch, you got to book the loads even though you don't want to do them sometimes.
What's your least favorite part, though?
Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of things working against us, especially right now. You know, high diesel, lower rates, truck prices are crazy right now. They've been crazy for a while. I mean, even our truck that we got, we thought that we weren't getting a good deal on that either. Mm-hmm. But come to find out a few months later, we actually got a really good deal, because it went up like I think 20% in value, like right off the bat. So just like now we have almost like 60,000 in equity on the truck. So, and back then we were thinking, oh man, it's too expensive. Like, how are we gonna make it? How are we gonna do it with that big truck payment? Yeah. But you know, like as anything, like you run the numbers and then you make it work. But you know, going back to like all these things working against us, it's just about hustling. You know, you gotta keep working. You know, keep the truck moving, because if it's not moving, you're not making money. Like, if you think you're saving money, you're not.
But right now, it looks like even if it's moving, it's not making money the way the costs are.
Yeah, like, it's rough, man. You just gotta do the research. Like, the one like good thing that we have versus what they didn't have like 40 years ago or 30 years ago even, we have the internet to, you know, do research. Like, there's millions of videos on YouTube of people doing it and making it. There's like a bunch of articles you got to read to see like what's going to happen in the future, what decisions are being made, and you adjust accordingly. So if one market is going to be like, let's say dry van is going down, reefer is going down, whatever it is. Okay, flatbed is paying this, is paying good now. Okay. Construction's coming back. Well, you know, whatever it is, you just got to look at the market.
Okay. So there's like more building, then that's going to need more materials. You just go more commonly on flatbeds.
Yeah, it's just like anything like any market. There's always a supply and demand. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. So you just got to get in and get where the money's good.
Where do you see the economy going in the near future? Like, and how will it affect the trucking game, do you think?
Well, I mean, I want to say right now it's kind of rough, but just like anything, like if you look at the history of the stock market, it's always been up and down. You know, there's cycles. We've been in an uptrend for so long that now, you know, everything's like, it looks like it's crashing. Like people are saying there's a bubble. They're saying there's this, there's that. Real estate's gonna crash. This and it's just a cycle. Like it's gonna happen. Like how long are things gonna be going up?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like even during COVID, like SPY ticker on the stocks. It was going up even during COVID. Like it crashed for like a few days, but then it went up to like all-time highs.
Yeah.
But what was the reason behind that? That measures the 500 largest companies in the United States. And why was it going up? Like what was the reason behind that? You know what I'm saying?
So SPY is like, and the ticker symbol is like a acronym or like the
it's
code
the acronym, yeah,
or what?
SPY. So
it would be kind of like a scat code of.
It's like a scat. Exact. That's
on
exactly
the stock
what
market.
Yeah, 100%.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought you said SPY like the sunglasses.
Yeah, it's like it's a large fund that just measures the 500 largest companies. So as long as that's like a kind of
That's
like,
how you know if we're
that's
at the
how you
end
know
of
if we're
end
doing
of the world.
Yeah, if we're doing good or we're doing not. But historically, it's been in an uptrend since it started the fund, which is it's been around for a while. I don't even know how long, but
so that's kind of, it makes you think though. It makes you think like, I don't know. So there's profit in pandemics, and there's profit in all this chaos. There's profit in this, like.
Yeah, there is. There's money to be made in any market. You could be in a downtrend, people are going to make money. You could be in an uptrend, obviously people are going to be making money. But you just have to believe in it and keep it in there for a long time. The thing is, people don't really like history. They don't like looking at what happened 5 years ago, what happened 10 years ago. People are thinking about now. Okay, now I want to get rich now. You know, I want to, you know, make money in 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it is. But you got to look at the long term and create value in the long term. Like, I have this right now. How much is that going to make in 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Because like you with the blink of an eye, like 5 years will go by like super quick. Like think of yourself like where were you at 5 years ago? Like how quick you made it to where you are now. It's just crazy to think sometimes like.
It was just yesterday and I wanted to be a grown up and now I want to be young again. It's
exactly.
Like, we're never fucking, you know?
Yeah. That's the crazy thing about life. It's something that trips me out all the time. You know, just thinking that, you know, one day that's going to be it.
Yeah. My son wants to be grown up already. I'm like, man, you don't even know.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. They don't want, they genuinely want to grow up already.
Yep.
And they just got to learn their own lessons, because now I see like how other adults would tell you, you don't really want that kid. Now it's like, now I found out.
Yep.
You know? So the future of trucking in summary is it's a cycle, you say then, and people that have never been in trucking probably hopped on the bandwagon right now because the rates are high and we got all these gurus popping out of nowhere telling you how to make it in trucking and this and that.
Yep.
So when this comes down, then we'll see who really, you know.
Yeah, just like anything,
stuck it through.
You're already seeing on whatever Craigslist offer up. People are selling their trucks. They're selling their whole business, like their whole trailers, trucks, everything. What's that gonna do to the market for trucks? Like selling trucks, like buying a truck.
How do you see it?
I see it as more supply is gonna bring demand down. There's gonna be more availability for trucks.
Well, there goes your 20% equity then.
True, but again, like it's a cycle.
Yeah.
So, if for somebody who's like in like dealing with trucks, like a used truck center or whatever, they're the ones who are gonna like feel the pain more in the next cycle. So, and you know, like new trucks, like I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Like I've heard like waiting times of like a year just to get a truck. Like if you want to get like a new 389, like fully decked out and stuff.
But
like,
what if people flake on those deals?
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna. I don't know. You get where I'm going with it? Like they're anticipating that this will remain, so they're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna pull the trigger on this expensive, overpriced truck, because I'm gonna get rich."
Yeah, and you know, situations like that's gonna bring the market down too. So I mean, there's gonna be like, let's say 2 years ago, how much could you buy like a used, 2015 truck for, like a Peterbilt or whatever? What, like 40,000-50,000?
I'm not sure, but
yeah.
I know that they went up, so
that same truck now, like not even like 6 months ago, that would be like 70-80 grand. Yeah. So how long is it going to stay inflated like that? Is it going to be that for a long time due to inflation? Is it part of the cycle of the market? That's what we're going to find out. Obviously, like, nobody has a crystal ball to like tell the future, but I strongly feel like it's a cycle, and it just has to pass. And then once it passes, there's gonna be it's like boom and bust.
Yeah.
Right now it's like a bust. So now we gotta wait for the boom, and that's where we get in, and then that's when we can really, like, there's people like during this whole thing where they've scaled their company up like insane amounts. Like they got in like right before the pandemic, and then they bought trucks at that point, and then you go from like a 1 truck operation to like 10. And then you're making money throughout the whole thing, like when rates were like super high.
Yeah.
So even like before the pandemic, like people saw a rate change in the market. Before, it was like the rates were down, and then during COVID it went up, and then like now it's kind of settling down again. So you like look at it. I don't know if there's a way to like quantify it and graph it like you do stocks.
Someone that could get that info, they would have a huge advantage.
Absolutely.
Even picking what genre of commercial trucking to do, Totally,
man. So that's what I feel like. If we're in a bust right now, like eventually there's going to be a boom. We just got to stick it out for the long term. This is like any business you get into. You're not going to get in the first day and, do nothing. Like it's not going to happen. Just think of any company out there. Nobody came out and was making like $1 million the first day.
Going into the line of trucking that you chose, was that strategic, or was that an opportunity that came to you? Because I haven't seen you in the ports, bro.
Yeah, I actually forgot to tell you guys about that. I was at the port for about 1 year when I first started, and then I left to do other stuff. And then when I moved to the IE the first job that I got there was at the port.
Yeah.
So I was there again for like another year and a half.
Yeah.
Before I quit that.
We'll always take you at the port, bro.
Man, I know. That's why I went. Like, I don't know, man. The ports are rough. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Some people, like, they say that their whole lives, I just don't know how to do it. Like, I can't. Like, I don't know what it is about it. It's like going into, like, I felt like I was back in the mental hospital.
Oh, shit. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It just looks impossible to fix, huh? Like, why is that? Like, it's there. You see the operation, and your 2 cents don't matter. It's like it's like they already know no one's gonna change nothing, but they just let us bitch. Like, yeah, let him talk it out, and they'll get over it. They're gonna show up tomorrow anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the port is something like a watch. Like you look at the inside of a watch, it's like all these different like moving parts, and you don't really understand it until you like take it apart and like look at it at every like little level.
Yeah.
And then
there's a lot of elements to it, more than just
it's not just oh, the ship comes, we take the container, and then you put on the truck, and that's it, and then you bring back the empty, whatever. There's a lot of different things that are going on, and like things that we don't even know about.
Yeah. Like,
who knows like what's happening like at some of those meetings where we're not invited. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say anything negative about it. Like, the ports are there, and like they're doing their job. That's great. There's a demand for it. There obviously supplies there, so it's always going to be around. Like, we're always going to be getting exports and imports, and
so long as there's that global economy, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And like, it looks like the world is moving more towards globalism. So global imports and exports are for sure here to stay. Yeah, there's no chance that we're going to bring back like huge manufacturing and doing the millions of different things.
No, at that point, it won't really matter where it's made. Unfortunately, it'll matter who has a hold of that actual power move. Like, who will be the powerhouse behind it.
Right.
it's going that way, but who will be the boss?
Yeah.
And I don't really think. Oh man, horrible. But at the rate we're going, I don't know if we still are or are gonna remain like the strongest country in the world for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Based on how things are going. But what's your opinion on that?
You know, it's looking rough right now. You know, just like anything. Mm-hmm. But you know, again, like anything, it's a cycle. So I don't know. I just have that like strong belief that eventually things will level out. You know, the kind of system that we have here, where every 4 years we change like the leader of the country.
So we think that, but
it's,
right?
It's a weird thing because one person comes in with ideas. They really have like 2 years of doing something, and then 2 years of trying to get reelected. So it's kind of hard. Like, when do they really like focus on putting in long-term goals of what they really want to happen with the country, you know, economically or whatever it is? So, and obviously, like, you don't want somebody who's going to be in power for too long either, because then you're going to have like a dictator situation. So it's just, where do we change the system? Do we keep it the way it is? I don't know. Like, that's what people are thinking about.
We're never done building. Then that's what I think what keeps people engaged in like politics.
Yeah.
The hope that the next guy will fix it, but
yeah, nobody has the real right answer.
Yeah.
Everything is an opinion. So how are we ever going to fix anything? That's what I think. You know, we can say, oh yeah, this has to be done, that has to be done, and then the next 4 years this other guy's saying the complete opposite.
Yeah, fuck all that. Let's do it my way.
Exactly. So, and like the way it's going, it's more like, you know, oh, you're on this side, so you got to get rid of everything this guy did, so we do it our own way. So if we keep doing this cycle for every 4 years, we're just going to be spinning our wheels. We're not doing anything to progress or, you know, anything. We're just staying the same.
All those things are probably going on in the back office, you know?
Yeah.
This is all, the front part is more like for you to feel there's a democracy, but there probably really isn't.
Yeah, who really knows what's going on, like, behind closed doors?
Yeah. We're on the Lewis Jones show, guys. Welcome. Yeah. Good luck getting to me. I don't drive at the moment, and you can't fuck with my brakes. You got that, Killery? Nah, but okay. Where were we?
So
the question to save the day. When it gets awkward, have you been to Krispy Kreme's? Donuts.
Yeah.
Are the donuts crispy?
My wife just sent me that TikTok yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, that shit was hilarious. And then the lady's like waiting for the reply.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself, lady.
Yeah.
Crazy. But those are pretty good. Anyways, if not in trucking, what would you do?
If I was in trucking, I'd probably be doing something in finance. You know, one thing I really want to do is real estate. Mm-hmm. There's a guy I follow on YouTube where he's another example of like going from dirt to like super rich, like quick. Mm-hmm. And he's like super like, not quick. I want to say quick, but like in a time where, when I say quick, I mean like 10, 20 years.
Okay.
To build to go from zero to like $500 million in like 10, 20 years, I'd say that's pretty quick.
Okay.
And that's something that's achievable with real estate. But the main thing is, like, the way I was before, like, I would listen to this one podcast where this guy would talk about, you know, always do everything in cash, you know, like, don't use credit. Credit's, like, bad or whatever.
Oh, Mr. DR.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah. But later on, like, I found out that's not really that true, you know, like, if you really want to get to a different level.
That's the mentality he had. Or that's to a certain era, huh? But the way things are going, that might not work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say everybody. I would say like, I won't say everybody because there's always like outliers, but 95% of billionaires use credit. You know, they use it even like right now, like when Elon Musk trying to buy Tesla. Trying to buy Twitter.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
I just want to say I know if my buddy Jose is watching that he's a Dave Ramsey fan. he wants to suck him up. Okay, hey, Anyways, go ahead.
I used to like listen to Dave Ramsey too, and like I have nothing against the guy. Like what the advice that he gives is very good for certain people. You know, like if something doesn't work for someone, it'll work for someone else.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to like be financially free from any debt or anything like that, that's fine. You know, but you're not gonna get to where you want to as quickly as you can by leveraging credit as well. So let's say like the guy that I'm watching, like I learned like a bunch of stuff about him. Like when I'm on the road, like all I'm doing is listening to stuff. So
is it okay if you mention him on here?
Yeah, his name is Ben Malla. He's on YouTube.
Mala or Malo?
Malla.
Okay.
Ben Mallah. He's this like he's a super funny guy. Like he's this older guy. He started in New York. Like he came from the dirt. Like poor family. They lived in like a like 500 square foot home with like 4 people, and they, you know, like he worked with some like questionable people in the beginning of his life, and then he started doing real estate. Like he had a mentor, and I feel like that's important too. Like to have somebody where, you know, like they can teach you something, or like you can gain anything out of them, because
it's pretty hard to find. Because
it's hard to find.
They don't want to invest their time in someone that's just curious and they're not really about it. Imagine how many people approach them. How does that a conversation even begin? You know, be my mentor.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta.
It's not that corny, or how does that happen?
I think it's just, you know, spending time with someone. If someone wanted to get into whatever field it was, like if you want to be a doctor, you go like you find like a doctor like in your family or whatever it is. You go and like you ask them questions, or you know, even social media. Like you go on YouTube, like there's a bunch of like doctors posting videos, or like you reach out to them, like see if they like answer back. Or I mean, nowadays like it's a lot easier than it was 30 years ago, whatever, just because of the internet. Information is like readily available. Yeah. 24 hours a day. So if you're looking for something, eventually I think you'll find it.
So by mentor, it doesn't have to necessarily be like a mentorship program. You could identify as a mentor to someone, or
yeah, absolutely. I feel like even like a third party mentor. And one thing this guy Ben Malla does, like he has a few hotels in the Florida area. Yeah. And he does these events where you go in and like you see him in person, like he'll do a presentation, and afterwards like you guys hang out and like you talk to each other and stuff. He answers questions. So he's a really like cool, chill guy. Okay. Like from what I've seen, like I'd like to go to like one of his events like later on, so whenever he does it again. But here's the thing with him. When he started, like I said, he had nothing, and then he went through the real estate stuff, and he learned a bunch of stuff as a manager, and then he started buying his own stuff. So after a while, like whenever he would buy stuff, he would always talk about leveraging the equity in that property, going to the bank, and then getting a loan on the equity, basically. So he used that money to buy the next thing.
When he's doing that, he's already doing that as a business or as a individual?
Well, in the beginning, you just like get in to start. You know, even as like a private guy, like let's say you're a first time buyer, you want to go and try to buy like a fourplex. Like you get a FHA loan on a fourplex, you live in one of the units, you got 3 of them renting out, and then you pay. It pretty much pays itself off, and then eventually, like you can like go to the bank and show them that, hey, like I have this property, it's making this much. Like how much can you loan me? And then you try to get the next thing, and then try to get like an interest only loan on that next thing. So you're not paying any of the principal, you're just paying the interest. So you have a low payment, which is gonna allow you to cash flow a lot of money, because let's say whatever that thing is making you $2,000 a month or whatever it is. You go to the bank, and then they offer you like, I don't know, I'm just making up numbers here, like $200,000. So you take that $200,000, you put 20% into something else, and now you have that cash flowing at another $2,000. So now you're making $4,000 and only paying the interest on the other loan. So it's kind of confusing, like, you know, without seeing the paper, like writing it on paper and stuff. But
it all makes sense if everyone's paying their freaking rent, right?
Yeah, which is why you don't really do business in California or New York, or You try to go to places where there's more like landlord-friendly states.
Yeah, right here, I've heard horror stories where people don't want to move out and they just keep showing up to court, or it's hard to evict them, right?
Yeah, I think it takes like
They're
2 to 3
protected.
years or something like that just to get someone out. So that's 2 to 3 years of missed income. And you go to the bank with something like that, they're not going to loan you anything.
And at this point, most of those people already have bad credit, so they don't really care, huh?
Yeah. I mean, if you're not paying your rent,
Yeah. All right. So did I fuck up your train of thought? But
no.
Are you good?
Yeah. So he went from doing that and just scaling up, eventually to doing like $40 million deals, like hotels, like 1,000-unit apartments, crazy. Like, and now he says himself, he has about 250 million in equity, 250 million in loans, but he's cash flowing like a lot, and like he has his whole family working the business. Like,
so he doesn't see debt as bad then.
Yeah, he doesn't. He even says like in every one of his videos, pretty much, like, if it wasn't for like getting these loans, he wouldn't be in the place he is now. Like, it's just gonna take a lot longer. Yeah, you can make it happen. Like, you can go, if you go like the Dave Ramsey way. Like, how long is it gonna take you to save up money to buy a house and then buy the next one, and then it's gonna be you can do it, but
and hope you buy in a good market, right?
Yeah, and that too. But again, like in housing too, there's always like the cycles and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just think like using the credit as leverage is a way to, like get to a better place faster. You can scale up a lot faster as well, and that goes for really any business, anything. Like even in trucking, like if you can use like credit, like to buy another truck, let's say, you put down on another truck, and then you have that running. You're obviously gonna make more than just being a one guy, one operation. So and then you scale up, and then you go 3, 4, 5, and now you're cash flowing a lot more than what you're doing before. So it's just hard to do that and save money, and then save that money to buy another truck. If you're not gonna use credit, just doing everything in cash is gonna take so much time to do it that way.
Yeah.
So I mean, he even like people ask him like, oh, like why don't you like start a bank? Like you have so much money, and it's like, no, it's like I like loaning from the bank. I don't like lending it out.
Yeah. Yeah. He feels he knows what's best to do with his money, then depend on people that might not pay it back.
Exactly.
So back to let me see. I have one more question here I want to get out of the way of the trucking. If you could change one thing about it, what would you change?
I think the only thing that would make sense changing is the people who are making laws about trucking or any regulations. I think it should be mandatory. And this doesn't just go for trucking, any field really. Anybody who's making laws or regulations about something should have experience, hands-on experience doing the job themselves.
Yeah.
So if you're making rules about, let's say, farming, like you should be out there like at one point in your life picking the stuff out of the fields, running the combine, doing whatever you got to do in that field to get real experience. Yeah. I'm not just talking about, being if let's say you want to be on a trucking board, you own 1,000 shares of C.H. Robinson, like that doesn't cut it. Like you got to drive the truck, be stuck on the road with the flat, things like that. You need to have that experience to make real laws.
Poop in a bucket.
Yeah.
Have you had to poop in a bucket?
Fortunately, I haven't. But I do carry a container for the other thing.
All right. Life on the road, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna let you be the one to judge. Do you think they're overkilling it with the policies, with all these demands? Like it never stops.
It really feels that way.
Like like how much more can you want? Like it's this new law, this new this. Like, is there a strategy behind that? You think?
I think it's the amount of money that's in trucking. There's always ways for some new thing to come out and something to be profitable like real quick, and then you have it be a regulation, and then it's mandated, so you have to do it. Just like anything, like for example, deaf. Like before 2008, what was deaf? It just it just came out of like nowhere, and then all of a sudden it became everybody has to buy it at you fuel, and then you need to get DEF as well, and that's an extra like money that came out of nowhere that goes to that whoever invented that. So things like, and then now like they have the electric trucks coming out, which I think is awesome. Like electric is a great way to go. I see some problems with like the range. I don't know how far they can go for somebody doing like regional work or even over the road, unless the infrastructure is set up where you can charge just like you go to a truck stop and fuel. I don't really understand why they would mandate it without having the infrastructure out first.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, who wouldn't want an electric truck? Like silent. Like if you're in a team operation, sleep like easy.
Yeah.
You're not shaking. Like they're super like. They're strong. Like the electric motors like have a lot more torque and speed. I just don't understand like why they would mandate it and like have it like, oh, after a certain year you can't have certain trucks without having infrastructure for the trucks that you guys want us to drive.
Yeah.
So if they can set up a situation where they have all that done first, and then we can see it like as a viable option,
that's just the beginning. Yeah. Like make it doable. Okay. So now we got the infrastructure. Okay, cool. Then what? Then we still have to see how we can bill, because now I need to know how much I get out of this charge,
Yeah, because you got to think about like
we're not buying diesel
fuel surcharge. Yeah, like there has to be some kind of electric surcharge like equivalent to that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are we going to be doing? Like we're getting paid for what, $1 a mile, just because we have an electric truck?
Yeah. You're saving money, so we're gonna pay you less.
Yeah, I mean it's the first time. Like what other sector is there where if somebody's saving money on something, they charge less? I can't really think of anything.
But Jordans, $12 and you buy them for like 400 or
Exactly.
100. That's okay. But if it's trucking and let me find out your overhead is less. Ooh boy.
Yeah, and the other problem is, there's only one Jordan. Mm-hmm. The other problem is there's how many truckers.
Oh,
there's always somebody there to pick up the crumbs. That's the problem too. So I don't know how that could be fixed. There's really no way to fix a market where people are able to take even the lowest of the low. Like somebody's gonna be there to pick that $600 load to Arizona. There's always gonna be somebody there to do it. Somebody that has a paid off truck. They're able to pay their insurance off at the beginning of the year. Somebody or if they have like a bunch of loads, like there's always going to be a situation where somebody can pick up the crumbs, like period. You know? That's just why like it's hard to demand certain rates from customers where they know they can get a better deal with something else. It all comes down to like the service really. Like, is the load actually going to get there with a certain truck? Is this guy going to break down on the road? How do they maintain their equipment? Is this guy going to be like, cheating logbooks and like he's like 20 hours into the load? Or there's a bunch of different like factors that play into it. And like, unfortunately, like a lot of companies, like they already know the ins and outs of trucking and they know like what they can demand from a company.
They study the market like we don't. Or
right.
We should, see the patterns as well, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let's go into. I got some money questions because your other account, it's something investment related. So.
Yeah.
But then I always see you commenting and giving some as your disclaimer states just what is it? Advice?
Entertainment.
Oh, it's not advice. It's entertainment. Your little disclaimer right there. So we'll start off with that disclaimer.
Yeah. So this is just everything that I say is just it's just what I'm thinking. It's not financial advice. What I'm about to say or anything like that. Yeah. I'm just giving you guys my opinion, what I feel.
Yeah.
So.
There's something that got my attention. You made $100 in 5 minutes. So should I start with that or with you describing more about your bio? It's you're a day and a swing options trader.
Yeah, so before I really like got into the, like buying my own truck, like with my brother-in-law and everything and doing all that, I was doing a lot of day trading, a lot of swing trading. So I was behind the computer from like early in the morning to like midday, and I was just trying to get in and get out of like certain trades. So
there's a schedule. There's a schedule to it, huh?
There's a schedule, like when the stock market opens and then when it closes. So you gotta like keep your eye on it during those times, especially when you're doing day trading, because some of those trades, like the one that you mentioned, like you're in and out in like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and how do you even know when to get in, and what's up with that? Like
a lot of it has to do with the way the market's moving. A lot of it has to do with charting. So you gotta, you look at a chart and you see it's going in a certain way. And the good thing is, like, one pattern that I look at a lot is at a certain level, banks, like a lot of the big banks, a lot of investment banks, like the big investors, they have like robots that like start buying when it gets to a certain level. So if you can identify those levels, like let's say Apple goes down to 99.36, and then at that level, the banks auto buy, so they're getting a huge like tick in buying pressure. So you know it's going to go up at that point. So if you buy it, if you have like something set already at that level to buy at the same time they do, you already know it's going to go up at that point. So that's how you make like a few like dollars. But then there's also other, like robots that sell at a certain point. So you got to get in and get out quick before it gets to that level. So that's just one way to trade it. There's like probably a billion different ways to trade stocks. So that's just one that I've experienced in. That's a good way to like make a few bucks, and then some of them you hold like throughout the day, you sell at the end of the day. There's rarely ones that I would keep for more than a day. Like it's just like buying and selling quick.
So that's the definition of a swing trader? Or
swing is holding it like a bit longer. Day trade is like you hold it for like, pretty quick, like minutes, Swing is like you try to hold it and then you might hold it to the next day, but that's pretty much it. But it's rare. Like there was only one time where I did that and I lost a lot of money. This was during when Coinbase IPO'd. There's a company called Marathon Holdings. They do Bitcoin mining. So I figured, Coinbase. This is like the worst kind of trading to do. It's not looking at like technical stuff. It's like thinking of like the news. I think it's like fundamental trading.
So the news is never good means
sometimes
to make a decision.
Yeah, sometimes it's good. It really depends on what it is, but you should also supplement that with technical data too. So don't just listen to the news and be like, oh, this is going to happen, so I got to do this.
Well, can the technical data be bought in a way that it manipulates the market and your perspective? Like fake news, in short. Could there be fake news to pump something?
Of course, all the time.
So how the hell do you know what's
that's the thing. It's honestly, when you really break it down, stock market is like the most advanced form of gambling. Okay, the only difference between going and putting $100 in a slot machine versus putting $100 in the stock market, at least with the stock market, you can look at some technical indicators. You can like read the news to tell you which way it might go. But at the end of the day, it's really just putting it in and hoping something's going to happen. Like that's really what it is, because it could go either way anyway. So it's more like versus gambling, obviously. Like you have a higher over, because you can't think of just like, oh, I'm going to make one trade and I'm going to be a billionaire. You can't think like that. You got to be like, okay, and today I'm going to make 10 trades. If I get 7 of them in profit, then I'll be good. So you got to take that and be like, okay, I did this today, and then like let's say I did 5 trades and they made profit. So the next day I got to make a certain amount more, to cover myself for the week. So it's kind of like in trucking, you have like your rate per mile.
Yeah.
So you got to have something similar to that for investing if you're going to do it like full time. So you got to make sure you make a certain amount. So that's a lot of what I would do in the beginning. Like once you get a little bit of money, you can start doing other things that like bigger investors do. And that's like where this book comes into play. Like, it's the wheel options trading strategy. It's called the wheel because basically what you're doing is it's kind of complicated. It's kind of hard to explain. What you're doing is selling options premium and then holding it and then waiting for it to expire. So a lot of like you told me like earlier, you're into GME and like, you know,
I'm not into GME. No, I said that's when it caught my attention, and I'm like, okay, I'll download the Robinhood. Let me see what I can get some of that action.
And that's where a lot of people got in, and that's where.
Hey man, I'm a follower, I guess. So.
That's where a lot of people here made their money too, which is because people are buying all those options for GameStop or whatever else it was. With this, you're basically selling those options to those people. So that's how you make money here. Whenever
I don't understand options. So
options, the best way to think of it is kind of like an insurance contract. So, you know, you buy your insurance and there's a premium you pay, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you have a 6-month insurance policy and you pay $328 for the insurance policy. And then at the end of 6 months, if you don't have a claim, then you just gave that money and, you know, that's it. But if you have a claim, then you make a certain amount of money. But after the expiration date, that's it. You know, unless you pay again.
Is it like insurance on blackjack? Not quite.
Not really. That's a little bit different. But it's like auto insurance or any kind of, you know, insurance, like your home insurance, whatever it is.
So if I don't have an accident, then what?
Then
same shit.
Yeah, you just lose the money, the premium that you had. So for example, when you're buying an option, you're agreeing to buy a certain 100 shares of a stock by a certain date, which is the expiration date. So if it doesn't go to that price within that expiration date, then you basically get whatever money that was there. So it's kind of hard to explain. Like I have trouble like explaining it like without writing it down. But to go to the selling part, because it's a little bit easy for me to explain it that way. When you sell options, you're basically giving the opportunity for somebody to buy the 100 shares and then you collect the premium. So let's say somebody wanted to buy, I'll give an example because it's a little bit easier this way. Let's say somebody wanted to buy 100 shares of GameStop. Okay, they do, let's say for example, so they purchase the option and it costs them, let's say $100. And if GameStop doesn't go to a certain price by, 7 days from then, then it just expires worthless. Okay, so when you sell the premium, whoever sold it gets whatever that person paid, the buyer. You see what I'm saying? So, like they get the $100, and then. And I can do it. The thing is, like, if I could show you, like, on an app, to, like, how it works, like, it's so much easier to explain. Like, it's just hard to, like, work it out in my head.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, a lot of different moving parts. And I just, like, have trouble, like, explaining it. But
there's a lot of ways.
There's a lot of ways. The thing is, when you sell options, you're basically getting that premium. And then if it's on a stock where they have, like, a 7-day expiration, that's, like, per week. So you sell it, you collect the premium, and that's it. So, like, you get that money no matter whatever happens.
Because you're not buying shares, you're buying stocks then.
Well,
options.
Well, here's the thing. When you sell options, you need to own at least 100 shares because you're putting those 100 shares, like, in escrow. So, let's say you own 100 shares of Apple, okay? So, you're putting those 100 shares up to be able to, for somebody to buy the option. So that option is to buy the 100 shares of Apple before an expiration date. So if it doesn't reach that date, if it doesn't reach that price by that day, then it expires worthless. And then you end up collecting all the premium, and then you keep your shares as well.
The shares are never up for grabs.
They are.
Oh shit!
If it reaches a certain point, that whoever bought the options can exercise their right to purchase the options at that price. So. Again,
see why a lot of us don't do this shit, man?
Yeah, it's even like me. Like, I do it, but, like, it's really hard to explain. Like,
is that why I'm getting that book?
Yeah, that's why, like, I'm going to give you this book to handle. So that way, like, it explains a lot better, a lot easier than I can explain.
The Wheel Options Trading Strategy by Marcus how do you pronounce it?
Highcutter.
Write it down. We're gonna get rich. Bad angle.
This guy can really like make you understand what it is you're doing.
He looks fucking rich, bro.
I mean, he came. Yeah, he came. He's like another guy who started with nothing. Like he came from Germany when he was like 18, 19 years old. He worked for IBM for a little bit, and then he started trading. And he I don't know. He's worth like a few million now. So
the Wheel strategy is so simple, anyone can learn it. Yet another great tool from Marcus and his team. All right.
Yeah, it's easy to do, hard to explain.
Yeah. You still want to use this for your phone?
I'll use it. So
for the vibrations.
So basically, with that strategy, you're able to make like weekly income. The only thing is you need to have a little bit of money to be able to actually do it, because if like one share is like $50 and you need to have 100 of them,
yeah,
do the math. That's how much you need to have in your account. Because you don't necessarily have to buy them as long as you have enough money. That's why it's called cash secured. I'm sorry, I can't remember the term. Cash secured puts. So
in Spanish, when we don't think of the word, you say la chingadera. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about crypto? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's the thing. When I was at the port, like when I first started, I was on night shift. So a lot of times, like I would do.
What year was that?
2018.
Okay.
2019, something like that. So, or it was maybe earlier than that. I don't know. Maybe 2017. But I would do a lot of Forex, like foreign exchange, like trading money and all that. But I also like learned about crypto around that time. And there was one that really messed me up. It was Dogecoin. Back in that time, it was 0.0019, something like that. So at that time, I had bought like, I don't know, 250,000 for like $200, $300, something like that. And I kept it, until like recently. So as you know, like it blew up, like it went all the way up to like almost 7 cents. Yeah. Or something like that.
So what happened there?
So it was like a month before, and I did a lot of research about it. Like the original inventor, like the people who made the coin, they like were out of it. Like they didn't have any, they weren't gonna like do anything more with it. They weren't gonna expand on it. It was like a dead coin.
The meme coin, right?
Yeah, it was dead. Like there's no, like it's not like Bitcoin or Ethereum or something like that. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, like once it gets to a certain level, I'm gonna sell it. So I had a sell limit order placed, and I'm like, okay, once it gets to this, I'm gonna sell like 0.005, I think.
And it's automated, huh? So it just
does it. Yeah, so it just does it. So I'm like, okay. So it got to that level like a month before it blew up. So a month before, it ended up selling for like $750 or $800, something like that. I'm like, okay, like I got out of it. That's good. And then the next month, like I saw something on TikTok, and they're like, oh, buy Dogecoin, buy. I'm like, what? And then I don't know. Like everybody was like calling me, like telling me, like, oh yeah, like should I buy this? Should I? Because like a lot of my family, like they don't know too much about. They always call me. So I'm like, like I don't know. Like I did a lot of research on it. There's no like more development. There's nothing going on with it. So I just sold all mine. And they're like, oh, like you didn't see what's going on, and I ended up like not even like a week later, it ended up like shooting up to like 7 cents. I'm like, oh my god, that would have been like.
Just do the math.
275,000.
Wow.
Or about that. Of like everyone that I own from a $300 investment. So that was like one that really like messed me up. I'm like, damn, like it was only like
how did I miss that?
A month,
how
man.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, I'm like, why did I put that order in? But there's been a lot of things like that in my life. Like
fucking ports did that to you, bro. You were bored somewhere and you're like, let me check my app.
Yeah, I'm like, let me do this. Let me get out of it.
What terminal were you at? I'm sure you remember.
I think I was at Maersk. I was at Maersk a lot.
Damn.
Yeah.
You can't feel worse than the guy that did the pizza deal, though.
Right? Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot like that.
Yeah.
There was another guy. I don't know if you've seen like the guy on. They call him G. Where he was in Apple. He'd be like, I think he bought a bunch of Apple and then like, but it was all borrowed. It was all on margin. So he ended up losing like, I don't know, like $500,000, something like something crazy. And the thing, this was the problem with Robinhood. With Robinhood, you were able to sell a bunch of puts without like having them cash secured. So you're able to get like a bunch of premium. So let's say like he sold like, I don't know, 100 of like Tesla, and he gets like a quick 200, 300,000, like all at once. Mm-hmm. But he has nothing to cover it in case like those end up like not expiring worthless. So he took that money, put in the options for buying Apple, and he's like, oh yeah, it's gonna go up for sure. Stock market opens, it like crashes like so hard, like down like crazy, and he ends up losing like $500,000. And like he screen recorded himself like doing it. Because he was like so confident, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just like, man, like, and like nobody knows like what happened to that guy afterwards. Like he just like not on social media or anything. Like a lot of people say like he might have killed himself. Like it gets that bad, you know?
Damn.
So, I mean, luckily, like I've never had a loss that big. Like any loss that I've had, like even this loss, like I don't really see it as like a loss. You know, it was just, I just got out early.
But look how risky it is now. It's not, what's that word? Volatile?
It's super volatile.
Because you could have done your research, and then it's super volatile, not only because it's crypto, but because of the day and age we're in. Like, you could have done all your research like you did, and then the next day someone like Elon Musk can say, go buy Dogecoin. And it's like,
yeah, and it blows up huge.
There goes your research.
Yeah,
exactly. Just like that.
That was exactly what happened to me. You know, like I did the actual technical data, the research, all of that. And then after, just like it's like a meme. It comes up and it just like, it blew up. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, yeah, I would have been happy to have all that money. Like I would have got started like doing real estate and like doing all that. But it is what it is. Like there's obviously a reason that happened. You know, that taught me something like, you know, don't jump the gun too much.
Yeah. Well, let's not dwell on that. I hope you're doing okay. Don't get suicidal on me.
Or nothing like that. You know, it's all good.
How do taxes work in that world? Like, let's just say I have the app, right? And one month I sell this. Like, I had that experience with Nicola. You know, bought, then sold, then bought, and it's like, is it bad to do that often, like throughout the year? Like, how would that be taxed if I sold, then I bought, and obviously the price of that stock fluctuated?
Yeah.
Does it keep track of everything? So at the end you get like one 1099, or how does that work?
The best way that I would say to do it is do it through a 401k or IRA. That's the best way to trade stocks because it's tax free. So whatever you trade within that vehicle, it ends up, you don't pay taxes on it. And then at the end, when you take it out, you know, you have that money tax free, especially if it's a Roth, because Roth, you pay taxes first. And then with like a regular non-Roth, you pay taxes when you withdraw the money. But it's going to be at a lower rate than obviously if you just trade it within like an investment account.
And you just open those accounts, like let's just say Robinhood. I set up my account with that information from the 401k or whatever I have.
I'm not really sure how Robinhood works with retirement accounts, but like the one that I use mostly is TD Ameritrade. And with them, like you're able to open a specific IRA through them, like their account, and then you trade whatever you want
on that account.
Yeah, so it's usually like with the retirement account, you like, let's say through your employer or whatever it is, you would like just join whatever fund is available. Like they say, target 2055 retirement, and then you just whatever goes from your paycheck into that's what you have. You don't really have a lot of flexibility on what you can invest in. But like through an account like what TD has, I'm sure like other like Charles Schwab or whatever, they have them too. You're able to like freely invest yourself, like whatever you want. Like you want to invest options, futures, some of them even do crypto. anything you really want to do.
So at the end of the year, you don't got to worry about like that form, like any tax forms or nothing. It's you're not doing no taxes on it at all.
Yeah,
because you're not taking out per se.
Yeah, because you're not taking out whatever. The only time you pay taxes when you sell. That's the thing you gotta remember. Anytime you gain income on it.
But what if you sell and that income goes to that account that is your retirement account though? You still. So the key is don't sell. Anytime you sell, it's.
Well, I mean, as far as like you sell and then withdraw the money.
Yeah.
Like let's say you wanna. Like, oh, let me take out $500. Because even through a retirement account, you wouldn't be able to do that. The best way through a retirement account is to get a loan through it, like on your equity.
Oh, okay.
So that's another way. Like, you got to think of, like, how did the rich, like the super rich, like, play the tax game? Because you can do a lot of those things too. It's just like with, like, buying and selling a house, like, for investments. Like, you buy a house, like, you keep it for 2 years, and then you don't have to pay tax when you sell it.
There's more to learn.
There's a lot of stuff out there. Like, I don't know, like, all in and out of tax. Like, I go to my accountant and they handle, like, most of it. So
yeah.
It's there's a lot of stuff, but if you do the research,
there's better ways to spend your money than, like, man,
don't waste it on taxes.
I wish I could go back. There's so many stupid things that I bought growing up, you know? Like, I didn't really need those rims. I didn't really need those speakers. I didn't need that watch. I didn't need that chain. Stupid, like, just to, like, impress others, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm still not a millionaire, so.
I mean, that was the one thing that I found pretty funny. Like, there was a...
You see fucking Zuckerberg with flip-flops.
Yeah, you know? That's what I saw on Instagram. Like,
flexing on no one.
The reason, like, Gucci and Versace and stuff are still, like, in business is because of poor people. Like, people that want to look rich.
Yeah.
You know, how many rich people are, like, buying those designer brands? Besides, you know, like, obviously, like, Kardashians and stuff. Like,
it's like if rich people are trying to look broke, man.
Yeah. Yeah, because that stuff is not important to them. Like, what's important is, you know, building generational wealth.
Fucking world domination and shit.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them.
So did the okay, so no more about taxes, but that's a good tip. The trading through your account, through your retirement account. So I personally might look into that one. Let's see. Did this one? Did the spike in rookie traders with that GameStop thing hurt this type of hustle for people like you that do the day traders and all that?
It didn't really hurt it in most cases. It actually, like, people made like record profits, like, off of these people because they were just like really throwing their money towards us who were selling them the options.
Oh, so they didn't know about options. They just saw a price and they're like, I'm buying in now. If it goes up, I'm going to sell.
Yeah,
that's my perspective, not knowing shit about this. I was like, I'll just buy low, sell high. And I'm hoping it goes high, but I do no research, just, you know.
I'm sure there was a bunch of people like that too, but there's a huge community on Reddit. I don't know if you heard Wall Street Bets.
That's what led to it, right?
Yeah, that's what led to this whole thing. And I've been following them for a long time. Just because a lot of times whatever they bet towards, like, I try to bet against. Because a lot of times, like, they would be off.
Yeah, okay.
So what I would do is a lot of these people, they would say, oh, okay, buy the option at this price, at this strike or whatever. And I would go in and try to sell at those same.
You were being opposite.
Yeah, you try to be on the opposite side. Which, you know, it's not, it's like when you go to a craps table and, like, you bet on the pass line. It's the same thing. So I did that for a while.
Was it working out for you?
It was actually working out pretty good. Like, it was good, like, weekly income on that. That's what, like, got me enough to, like, start, like, selling even more. And, like, just like anything, it's like scaling up. So that was like it was really unfortunate because, like, a lot of people, like, lost money, but I mean, maybe that was just, like, extra income to them. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were just investing, like, the COVID money.
Well, the key word is, like, you shouldn't invest something you're not willing to lose.
It's just like gambling.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't afford to lose it, then don't play it.
Yeah.
Period.
Back to crypto. What do you think about that? Ethereum or Bitcoin?
Well, I would say both. You know, like, I had Bitcoin for a while. I bought it when it was like $100. I kept it for a while, and then I've Same thing, kind of like Doge.
Don't tell me you sold it before. Oh man,
I sold it probably like 16,000.
Oh.
I thought that was gonna be like all time high. A lot of people were saying 20 was the top, and then it went crazy after that. Ethereum, I actually mine it. I have a miner that I've had for about 2 years. I bought it for such a good price. It was like $500 for 6 graphics cards. It was at that time, I was doing like as much as $50 a day in crypto. And
anyone can mine then.
Yeah, as long as if you have a rig, you can mine. Like even like today, like the thing is, Ethereum is changing their ecosystem. So they're going, I don't know if they call it ecosystem, but whatever it is, they're going from a proof of work, which means something able to mine, like in simple terms, to a proof of stake, which means people stake a certain amount of Ethereum and then they gain like interest. That's kind of what it is, like interest on that money. So it's a really complicated way that like crypto works.
Mining sounds like counterfeit cryptocurrency.
It's really hard to explain. Like I'm gonna do a really bad job on it, but basically what the mining is doing is it's like checking whenever you send money with crypto, it goes to like a general ledger, and then it checks it, and that takes like it solves like really difficult math problems that like humans can't do, obviously. So it needs like these high powered computer systems to do it. And that's how it checks off like, okay, this is good. And then that's how the money gets sent. And it's all like anonymous and all. That's why a lot of people like it for that too.
Yeah.
So that's what that crypto miner does. But the thing is now, a lot of this is because crypto mining uses a lot of energy. Yeah. Like I use like 1,000 watts a day. So my electric bill is like
more than what you make. Yeah. When you mine.
It depends, because a lot of times, like in the beginning, like you just start it up and then like you're like in a net loss. But then after a while, like the coin goes up and then you're in a profit. So you could start making like negative $10 a day or whatever it is, and then you get to like the point where it's like $50 when the price of the coin goes up. So that's what I've been doing, and like I got in at like a really cheap price, like at $500 now, like not now, but like because things are going down. But I want to say like a year ago, like during COVID, people were buying graphics cards like crazy. There was like a huge like gamers, like people who play video games on the computer were getting mad because they released these graphics cards where the MSRP is like $1,000, and scalpers would buy like 200 of them and then like sell them on like the market for like $4,000 each. So there's a huge,
that's a scalper.
Yeah, it's like they would have like automatic buying. Like whenever Best Buy would, like, let's say at this time, they would like make computer programs like that would automatically buy these graphics cards whenever they're available, and it would like keep scanning like every 5 seconds. Okay, this store has like 100 on hand. Buy them now. You know?
And so the gamers are mad as fuck.
They were mad, man. They were like, man, it's like $4,000 to get a graphics card. MSRP is like $1,000. Like, it's insane. So, and they blame like the mining community because that's who was like buying all the graphics cards. Because like you have the newest ones, like you have the strongest, like the most memory, the most whatever it is. You're able to get more money in. So you see like gaming like a hobby, and then I mean for some people like they make money like Twitch, let's say. But like mining and stuff, that's what really drove the market up for graphics cards. Now like it's settling down because a lot of them are only Bitcoin, I think, is going to be staying with, like, out of the top coins, is going to be staying with proof of work. So, but Bitcoin mining is a little bit different than.
What's proof of work though?
It's just like the name's like it's proof of like the transaction being like kosher. You know, like.
What makes it kosher though? Like that's why that's the way you're doing it at some point might be seen as not kosher then?
No, it's not. The reason why people don't like proof of work is because it uses too much energy, which is, you know, bad for climate or whatever. So that's why a lot of them are moving for that reason.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why they're doing proof of stake, where you just hold the coin. You just hold, like, let's say you have 5 Ethereum and you just stake that, and then you earn rewards on it. Mm-hmm. So the rewards are like interest income. So on 5 Ethereum, you do like whatever in a day, you make like, I don't know, $10, let's say. Just for example, I don't know how much they're going to be paying for it because I haven't really done too much research on the staking, but that's how most coins are going to be changing. Only Bitcoin is really the one that's going to be staying the way it is. And the amount of energy it takes to mine Bitcoin is crazy right now. Because another thing is a lot of the Bitcoin mining if it's not done in like a huge farm and like you're just like a one person guy at your house doing it, you usually join a pool of like other people doing it. So you try to like combine all of the like mining, and then you win the reward for breaking the block. So once that block is broken, and however much that reward is, let's say like 38 Ethereum or whatever it is, that gets broken up between all the pool. Okay. And that's how you get the money. Versus like a person on their own trying to break like with just one like rig. Yeah. There's no way you're gonna get.
I've seen some crazy shit though. Like you see the one with all the cell phones on the wall?
Yeah, that was like the old style. Okay. There was so many different ways people were doing it, like CPU mining, there's GPU mining, there's ASIC mining, there's a bunch of different ways. Like Bitcoin is strictly ASIC, which is like these machines that require like a lot of energy, and there's like the farms that they have are like insane like amounts of energy that takes to like just drive them. And even in, like in your house, you'd have to like up your electricity to like 220, I think, just to like get it done. It's like adding solar to your house.
It's like buying a Tesla without getting to drive the car.
Exactly. But at least like it'll make you good money. You just got to keep upgrading it because these things are expensive. Like getting into GPU mining, probably like $3,000 to $5,000
per machine.
Per rig. Like let's say you have like 6 graphics cards, which is like the usual 5, 6. If you wanted to get an ASIC miner for Bitcoin, some of the new ones are going for like $10,000 just for one machine. So
and then not knowing how to plug it in, what do I do with it?
How do
I reap the?
Yeah.
How do I secure the coin?
Every couple of years they make stronger ones, and then those become like outdated, where they're not making money anymore. So then you got to keep buying new ones. So it's like
even that's a market then, like a stock market.
Exactly.
Because you got to know when it's gonna go down and sell yours and prepare for the new one and knowing the timing and.
Yeah, and the thing is, who's gonna buy them when they know they're gonna be outdated? Because they become basically like worthless.
What, they can't be repurposed?
There's nothing
to do with them? Not even for gaming or...
No, because the ASIC ones, I think they're just a chip inside. There's just nothing for really gaming. Like graphics card, at least you can sell them to a gamer who's going to... Like a lot of them, they wouldn't want to buy because these are on like 24 hours a day. So eventually they're going to like... They're not going to last that long. So... It's a complicated thing, but...
Some people might not like it then. They might think it's wasteful and it hurts the environment.
Yeah, totally. There's a bunch of people like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're probably true. Like, if you think of how many people would do, like, mining and then all these farms and stuff, like, I'm sure that's not good.
And on top of that, they want infrastructure for electric vehicles as well. So
yeah, I mean, just thinking of, like, how much electricity we're depending on, it's crazy.
If you followed electricity and create the creation of it, what does it fall down to? Like, how do you make the electricity?
I heard a lot of it is done with gas, like, which is pretty funny, right? Yeah, I mean, they talk about like renewable, like wind, solar, all that, but it doesn't make anywhere near. I've actually like heard that nuclear is the best way to go, but a lot of people are scared of it because it just has like a bad name, you know?
Yeah.
But nuclear energy is really like the best way for it. Like you see those big, I don't know if you've been to San Diego, like off Coronado, you see all those like military ships.
Yeah.
A lot of those are, the aircraft carriers are nuclear powered. So they don't run with like fuel or they run with like however nuclear, however that works. I don't even know how they work, but it's crazy like that. That energy that's contained within it can move that huge thing, which is basically like a city on water. Those things are like twice size like cruise ships.
Shit.
And like they have like the airplanes landing on them and all that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I've heard a lot that like nuclear is the best way to go. It just has a bad rap, like whenever they had like whatever happened in like 3 Mile Island and the other thing like in Russia. So
the Hiroshima or
yeah, Hiroshima. Well, that was the bomb. That was the bomb. Yeah,
okay.
That was different. But just like the reactors that would leak, and then it just like spoils the whole environment with the radiation for like forever, pretty much.
But imagine if something's contained, how long can it hold? Nothing lasts forever. Like all this stuff that's been contained over the decades, someday it's gonna give. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like how technology is always like evolving.
Yeah.
There's I don't from what I've heard, like there's no way to really upgrade those systems. So once they built them, which was like a long time ago when it was like a brand new technology, there was no way for them to do anything about it, which is why what happened ended up happening. I mean, now the technology is obviously a lot more, better. Yeah. So maybe they can figure out something to do with that. But there's a real big push for the renewable stuff, which I don't really see how much wind is going to be generated, how much solar is going to be generated.
Well, based on that, if you see that's a trend, then how would you play your cards in the stock market with that? Would you look at companies that are involved in that type of business?
Well, you really gotta look at what the people are gonna go for, because that's the people that are gonna be buying it. How many people are gonna be interested in buying something where, they're doing nuclear energy technology? I would say like not that many people would be interested in that. That's gonna be stagnant for a long time. Something like renewable energy, a lot of people are interested in that. Obviously it shows like with electric cars. They got the solar panels on their houses and all that.
Yeah.
So just like investing in solar companies or wind farms and things like that, that would make sense. Nuclear, God knows like when that's going to happen.
I didn't even know that was a thing till right now you mentioned it.
Yeah.
So it's just a thing, but it's not something socially accepted.
Yeah, exactly. It just has like a bad name on it,
I had a question about one more about crypto. You notice there's a way that like if you see you're losing a lot in crypto, maybe you could pull out without actually cashing out, and you transfer it to there's a coin, like a crypto coin, the same value as the dollar. What is it called?
Yeah, there's a few. There's I think the most like known one is Tether, which basically mirrors the dollar.
Yeah, there you go. So you don't have to necessarily pull it out of the whole, right? Then, because if you never pulled it out, then you never get taxed on it, right? So then when it's time, you transfer it back from there, or what's the purpose of having that there?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've heard a lot of bad things about Tether. Like, I don't know how accurately it depicts the dollar. I don't know if it's even backed by it. As far as, like, I don't think they have any reserves of the dollar at hand at Tether. But I don't have experience of it myself because I've never done it myself. But I would imagine you would just exchange whatever coin that you have to the dollar. And it would be a crypto to crypto exchange. So I imagine it wouldn't be taxed at all.
That's the strategy behind it probably, huh?
Yeah, I would imagine. I haven't done it myself, so I'm not 100% sure. But that's what makes like most sense in my mind.
Because it sounds like maybe you panic, like it's going down. I'm going to sell it.
Yeah. But
let me put it here. So it's still in the ecosystem or whatever.
Yeah, it's still like as a crypto.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if when you would exchange it, does that create a sell order to exchange it, or if it's just
what's in it for Tether, or what do you call it?
Well, they're gonna get the transaction fees, because that's the other thing with crypto. You always pay the like in Ethereum, you pay the gas fee, or with Bitcoin, you pay a certain amount of Bitcoin to change the money.
So they're just relying on that then.
That's really what's driving it. That's what pays the miners too. They make money off the gas fee for Ethereum, or they make money off the transfer fee for Bitcoin. So that money goes to them, and then
it goes to who?
To the miners.
The miners.
Yeah. Or if it was a proof of stake, it would go to the stakeholder.
Ay.
It's really complicated, man. I feel like I'm leaving a lot of stuff out too.
Yeah. No, but it got me reinvested in learning more about it, because it kind of had died out,
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like you assume you have to have a lot of money to get into it, but you could play with what little you have and then build that up and then reinvest that. Right?
Yeah, it's all about scaling up. Like if you have like an extra $20, if you have an extra $20 a week, just put that away, and then eventually you'll have something in there,
Yeah.
And just like anything, like right now the market's down, Bitcoin is like super low. Now would be the best time. It's like buying stuff on discount. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the store, there's a jeans for $100. You come back a week later, it's 25% off. Like when are you gonna buy it? You're gonna buy it then. You're gonna wait a week. So it's a lot better to buy stuff when things are low and then keep it through the bad time.
Oh, yeah. Don't buy it in. People think of buying in dollars, but focus on how many pieces you have of it instead of like being ruled by the dollars you see. Like, just acquire as much of it as you can in however many pieces. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, totally. And don't just buy it because somebody's telling you to buy it when it's at all-time high.
Yeah.
You know, it's like going and buying a, like I said, like the pair of jeans analogy. You go buy it when it's $100, and then instead of waiting a week to make it 75, because then when it goes down to 75, you're gonna be like, oh man, now I got this. What am I gonna do with it? And then it keeps going down and down and down. Then you're stuck in that cycle until it goes back up again. The smartest thing would be is when it goes down to 50, you buy more at that time. Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of people do. I'm forgetting the name of the term when you do that, but a lot of times
daily cost average.
Yeah, what do you your cost average?
Yeah.
So you would let's say at 100 you buy it and then it goes down to 50 and then your average is 75 when you get it at that. So then you just keep like as long as you get the cost average as low as possible, you know.
Yeah.
Because eventually after the cycle it's gonna go back up.
Well, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like with Bitcoin, I could take that route, but not with Nikola. With Nikola, I feel like you're poking a dead animal. Like, get up, bro. You know, it's like...
Yeah. There's a certain time where...
It's like, this probably applies for crypto, but not for stocks. Probably.
A lot of... Well, it depends on the stock. If you're talking about like Apple or something like that, you know, Apple's not going to go out of business for... Ever.
Yeah, okay. Oh, so, but if it's the newer ventures,
you gotta watch out for the like volatile ones. You gotta watch out for the new ones. Anything under like $10, really.
Yeah. And what is that? You gotta look at the. What was that? There was another way to see it too. If it's worth risking, it's the overall. Like the apps, they now provide you all these statistics, like how many
like
shares outstanding, and
they give you like the 52-week low, 52-week high, and all
the
that like basic info. Yeah. So
knowing how to read that helps a lot.
Knowing how to read that, you know, doing your own charts. Like if you go on TradingView.com, you can have like make your own charts, put your own indicators. Like the ones that I usually use when I was day trading was the MACD, RSI, and the
that's extra
stochastics. Yeah, those are the best ones to use just to see like if all those three indicators are at a certain point, you know whether to buy or to sell. So, and again, like it's still a gamble, but just based on averages, as long as you can keep it like at a 70% win rate over however many you do, you're still going to be in profit at the end of the week.
Cool.
Just win more than you lose.
Yeah, I hope so.
Just like anything.
So where do you see the dollar going in the future? Do you see a collapse coming?
I don't know if it's going to be a collapse. I think...
Remember the housing bubble?
Yeah, just like that. You know, there was a reason why all that happened. Now the banks are really on top of stuff. They don't just lend money to anybody. So there's a lot less factors that are going to go into why the dollar would crash at all. So I think it's just a cycle. I just think that, you know, we're in a downtrend and eventually things will pick back up. Like we just came out of like the pandemic and all that, and
that kind of fucked up the cycle.
Yeah.
That would have been, because they were saying that we're long overdue for another cycle.
We were. I feel like without COVID, it would have gone up a little bit more before it went down. But COVID really like took it back down a lot. And then there was weird stuff happening in the market, a lot of volatility.
Yeah.
And then now it's just kind of, you know, it's still in a downtrend, but I feel like it's starting to level out. I feel like eventually like the cycle is going to be over and things are going to get back to what it was, and this could be over the next 10 years. It's not just, you know, this year it's going to get better or whatever it is. It just depends on how long the cycle is going to be running for.
Got to pay attention to the signs, right?
Yeah, you just got to, you know, read the important news, you know, watch the charts. There's two symbols that you can look at that will let you know how the country's going. And that's SPY and the VIX. So
like Vaporub?
No, it's a VIX. I think it's VIX or VIXX.
Okay.
Those will tell you how the market's going. The VIX is like a misery indicator.
Better not land me on some fucking porn site, bro.
That basically tells you, like, if it's up, that means things are going down. If SPY is up,
yeah, that sounds like a porn website, bro. If it's up, it's going down.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So those are the two ones to look out for, to keep an eye on, to scope things out. But that was interesting when you said that, the SPY one. Like, when things were at our worst, that was doing good. That's kind of fishy, man.
Yeah, that's like, why are all these companies doing so good right now? You know, things are supposed to be going down. Productivity is supposed to be low. Like, not too many people in the workforce.
So should I invest in toilet paper now or later?
I think toilet paper is going to be around for a while. Okay. I don't think we're going to be getting bidets over here.
All right. So if all goes well and there's no World War III, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, I'm a pretty positive guy. I like to think of, you know, nothing like that's going to happen. Everything's going to be good. I like to see myself, you know, expanding the company, you know, getting into the next thing, you know, buying some more equipment and like hiring drivers. Mm-hmm. I do want to keep it going for a while. Like, I would say, but I would give myself a time limit, you know, like, I know trucking is not going to be the best thing to stay in for the long run, like for the rest of my life.
Just because you see a pattern coming there.
Yeah, I mean, not just the pattern, just like the stress of the business in itself.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of moving parts with trucking. There's so many different things, like, you know, pay this fee, pay this, pay that, and then, you know, worry about audit, and then, you know, something happens to the truck. There's a lot better ways, like, to invest as far as, like, in yourself. So, you know, make some money with trucking. And then fund the other stuff. Yeah. To get out and then do I want to do like real estate, obviously. So, yeah, you know, doing some out of state, you know, rentals, and just doing whatever I can to increase cash flow, where eventually is going to surpass whatever's making from trucking. And then one day sell the company or just liquidate, and then just have, you know, the real estate business growing and scaling up, and then, you know, it's a lot less stress.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about, like, your health, too. Like, you're only going to be alive to do whatever you want to do for as long as you're healthy. So if you're stressed all the time, like, you're on the road all the time, that's no way to live. Like, you just got to do that and then get out. Get out and do something else that's going to make you money.
So go into it with a plan, not just, like, yeah, because one thing I think I did wrong is because I took it for granted that I'll always get that big check next week. So I would spend away and then I'll get the other, you know, never really like, because with the income we get as truckers, there's no reason why we can't invest in other things.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Just imagine
work our way out.
Yeah, just imagine, like,
if you want to get out,
you can easily save like $1,000 a week in trucking, like, if with your own authority. There's no reason why you couldn't. Mm-hmm. As long as you're getting like all the right loads and all that, you save $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month, like, it's over $50,000 a year. Well, almost $50,000 a year. So you save that. Like, just think of, you could put a down payment on it. There's some states where you can buy a house cash with that kind of money. So you save for a year.
Yeah, open up your mind. Like, don't be locked.
Don't be stuck in the truck.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah. Like, trucking is great, but obviously, like, it's not the same way it was 30 years ago or 40 years ago. Yeah. You know, my uncle, he had a trucking company back in the 80s. And, like, he was doing a lot of flatbed work. And he had, like, up to 5 trucks at one point. And it just went down. Like, after the deregulation happened and all that, like, there was no way to, like, sustain the business at that point. So there's like I said, there's always going to be cycles.
Yeah.
You just got to look at the history of everything and don't be closed-minded and think, oh, yeah, this year is like this month is like that. No, look back like 10 years. Look back 20 years. See what happened then. And then you'll see what happened now.
Would you consider coming back to the ports? Like, if you, like, tap into that realm a little deeper now that you have your, you know, authority and all that?
I actually have been thinking, I was actually thinking about going through the rail, just because it's open 24 hours and it's a lot easier to get in, get out. You know, you don't have to worry about, like, dealing with the people and all that. Everything's on wheels. I actually did rail work for a little bit too. So
okay.
I just saw like how I know the rates are low, but you can pull out a lot more containers through rail than port.
Yeah.
In a day.
But port, it's better paid if you know how to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Which I'm learning a little too late, but I don't mind sharing it. You know, like.
Yeah, like I've seen a few of your podcasts that you did with the other guys like Ricky's and they're killing it right now.
They got a lot of good feedback from a lot of people have learned from that podcast.
Yeah, I even learned a bunch from those podcasts too, just about the port. And I even been thinking about it. It's just like, do I really want to go back in there and like get in that? Like, is it gonna just like the mind, like, is it gonna kill my mind going back in there, like having to deal with like, it's like, I don't want to say trauma because it sounds like too dramatic.
Yeah. I mean, that is where you lost the potential 275,000.
Yeah, and just
that's
like,
where you made that Dogecoin decision.
It's just like a lot of the negativity over there and stuff. Do you really want to get back into all that and have to deal with people and, you know? I mean, I don't know. I always keep all my options open. So if something
never
happens,
say never.
Yeah,
you
never say
know.
never.
Yeah.
Never.
It's always good to have that option, right?
Yeah. And that's the good thing about trucking, the flexibility.
You have your Twix card?
Yeah, I still have it.
I love saying Twix card. People like just to see who reacts, you know. But I think they caught on to it already. Twix card. Let me see your Twix. You got it?
It's in my bag in the truck.
You don't have no Twix card. All right, we're at the end. Is there anything that I left out? Anything that you would like to add?
No, I just want to say like thanks again for like having me here. You know, like hopefully I explained everything okay. Like I know the stock stuff is kind of like complicated. It's kind of complicated for me to like work it out of my brain and like take it out.
Nah, if so, that's my bad because I sent you the questions and those weren't on there. So
for sure.
So, thank you for the book, though.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Give me my book, man. Thank you for the book.
Hopefully that can make you some money.
Yeah, the guy looks really happy on here. I want to be happy like him.
Yep.
So, any words of encouragement for someone that wants to get their license and tap into the trucking world?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Get your license. Get into it. Even if you're just working as an employee, like you're still going to make good money. Whatever you're at now, like you're working in a warehouse, you're working in an office somewhere, where else are we going to have the opportunity to make like $100,000 a year? My first year in trucking, I made $100,000 a year working food service. You can go to Cisco or whatever it is, like big company, you make $120,000. You're going to bust your ass. You're going to be working like 70 hours a week, no matter what, but you're going to make that money. And just make it to get out. Make it and then get out with it, invest. Like
build up your little hustle on the side.
Yeah, think like a billionaire does. Like they don't trade their time for money. You know what I'm saying? They have their time to do whatever they want to do. They have their money working for them. They don't work for their money.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yeah, you should write a book, A Rich Trucker, Poor Trucker.
Yeah. Maybe.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And where can they reach you?
Instagram is my company, Trophy Trucking LLC.
Okay.
I'm also on TikTok.
Doing dances? Or
No, nothing like that. No? It's just like stuff in the truck.
Is it the same name on TikTok?
On TikTok, it's Lamassu ENT, LAMASSUENT.
Huh? Okay. I'll put that in the description.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's all. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Reach out to him directly. And there you have it. Enjoy your weekend. It's a Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe out there. Don't drink and drive. There's a lot on the line to lose if you fuck up and get caught. And wear that seatbelt. The life you save may be your own. And we're out.